Hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I wanted to finish up on something that we started last week. A lot of you guys asked me to do this, so I thought I would take the time to share some information with you. Last week I did a video called What a Billionaire Told Me About Black People. And basically the concept sort of came from when I was in New York last week. You guys know I was in New York City last week handling some business and stuff like that. And I walked by Bank of America. And when I was walking by Bank of America, I thought about a story that was told to me by a pretty wealthy man who's he happens to be a white guy. And he shared with me something I didn't know about Bank of America, which is he shared with me the fact that Bank of America was actually created as a power play by the Italian community. Now, you guys know that I read books like Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson, and so you know, the common thread that he and I had was, you know, he basically said, you know, I see what you do, you know, online, and I think that what you're doing for the Black community is really good. And he said that he actually likes the fact that that what we talk about is not liberal, it's not conservative, it's all about Black power. It's about economic empowerment, because he said, look, economics is what drives everything. That's what drives people's perceptions and opinions and everything else. And when I see somebody says, I saw you in London. All right, well, thank you. I'm coming back to London, by the way. I got to get back. I love London, such a good city, so many good people. So I can't wait to come back. So anyway, so here's what happened. So he told me about the Italian community and how Bank of America was actually the person who drove a lot of the activity in Bank of America was a guy named Amadio Pietro Giannini, and he actually founded the Bank of Italy. And what happened was Bank of America, it was actually founded, I did more research on it. It wasn't founded by him, but it was sort of expanded by him, kind of the way Ray Kroc excuse me, wasn't the original founder of McDonald's. The original founders of McDonald's were the McDonald's brothers, who actually created the system to make hamburgers and cheeseburgers really, really fast and get the orders out quickly. Before that, you know, it took a long time for fast food to be made. And so anyway, I did this short video. What I'll do is I'll share the video with you that I did before, so you guys can kind of hear where it started. And then I'm going to give you a little more information connected to this story so you can apply this in terms of the power moves you want to make in your own life. So if you're not on YouTube, you won't hear this, or you won't see this, but you can hear it. So I'll turn it up pretty loud. Here you go. So this right here is the Bank of America Tower. I'm in Midtown Manhattan. And the reason I'm filming the Bank of America Tower is because I once had a conversation with a white billionaire, and he's kind of a libertarian, and so he wasn't into conservative or Republican. You know, when we talked about the Democrats and Republicans, his opinion was that they all kind of care about their own power. They all rip the American people off. When we talked about Facebook, he said, oh, Facebook is evil, and I've known Mark Zuckerberg since he was young, and that's an evil company. So he's kind of wired in like that in terms of some of the stuff that's going on in the country on a high level, because he's, you know, a billionaire or whatever. Well, anyway, one thing that he mentioned was he had followed my work, you know, with the Black community. He said, and one thing that he said he liked about what we do is that he said, your ideology, I like it because it's not liberal, it's not conservative, it's all about power. And he said, power means that, you know, when you go and you run up the mountain shooting, they're gonna shoot back. If you get real power, he said, as Black people get real power, don't expect that people are gonna let you accumulate power without them fighting back. And he said, and I like the fact that you fight back. So I bring all that up to say that one example he brought up in terms of a power play by a community was Bank of America. And he said, a lot of people don't really know that Bank of America was a power play by the Italian community to get power in America. And then a lot of people don't even know Bank of America was founded by individuals from the Italian community, and they call it Bank of America, so you won't even know that it's Italian owned. So he said that was a power move that they did to aggregate their economics, and he said basically to do what you're talking to Black people about doing now, that's what they did to build Bank of America. So I do that showing you the Bank of America Tower because I just thought that this was something, you know, the one way for us to build empires in our community is to understand the structure and the foundation of other people's empires, so that we'll know and get some ideas on how to build our own. So that's it. I'm out of here. Hit the thumbs up button. I'll see you guys soon. Peace. Okay. So forgive me, I'm finishing chewing. I was so hungry. I haven't eaten this morning yet. But anyway, so that was the original video. That was the original conversation. excuse me, about Black Power, and how Black Power, from a powernomic standpoint, really means you're focusing on the ownership and the control of institutions, institutions that you create, institutions that serve various functions in your community. The main things that Black people need to be able to do kind of connect to what I call, the Black core of three. The Black core of three, which is the foundation on which I base everything that I believe, everything that I say. It says that Black people should educate our own children, create our own jobs, and support Black businesses. If Black people educate our own children, create our own jobs, and support Black businesses, then you can begin to build the pillars of power. You can control almost every segment of society, politics, everything else, if you have your economic base. So Black people need an economic base, an economic production system that allows us to provide for our basic needs so we can reach for higher level needs, okay? So with that said, let me dig a little deeper in this. I did a little more research on it because a lot of you asked me about it. A lot of you said, hey, Doc, tell us more about it. And my PhD is in finance, so I definitely owe it to the community to share a little bit more. So I did a little bit of research on the history of Bank of America and how that power play went. Now, you guys know, if you take my if you're in the Black Business School and you take one of my classes or something, you'll know that one thing I recommend to all the students, we have about 80,000 students, almost 80,000 students in the Black Business School. So feel free to join if you'd like to. Anyway, I always recommend to the students that they read this book called How the Jews Invented Hollywood. And it is not, no anti-Semitic stuff. It's nothing like that. It's actually a book written by a Jewish man, in which basically he chronicles how the Jewish community felt oppressed, they felt excluded, they couldn't go to schools run by others, by white folks, they couldn't get jobs working for white folks, so they created their own jobs, they created their own schools. It's just like, I can't get a ride, so I'm going to build my own car. I'm going to go get the parts and put together a car. I just have to learn the skill to put a car together. So anyway, the history of Bank of America is very interesting. If you want to know just sort of the size and scale of Bank of America now, they're the second largest bank in America. About 10 to 11% of all the deposits made by people across the United States goes to Bank of America. So they're part of what they call the Big Four. I think it was Chase and Wells Fargo and JP Morgan, Chase, Wells Fargo, and I want to say maybe Citibank is the other bank in the top four. Bank of America, the origins, or one strand of its origins, goes back to the Bank of Italy, which was founded by Amadeo Pietro Giannini in 1904. Now, he started this bank in a saloon, basically a saloon that they repurposed to make it into a bank. And what he did was he pointed out a community that was being discriminated against. Mostly immigrants and workers that couldn't get deposits at regular banks because banks only wanted to serve certain people. Well, he said, look, we'll serve you, we'll help you out, right? So by looking to those communities that are neglected and giving them another option and building their own, that's how they built Bank of America. And the community got behind him. A lot of Italian people put their money there. The deposits shot up from day zero. And then eventually they grew, to a pretty good size. So later on, they were acquired by Nations Bank. In 1998, they were acquired by Nations Bank. Bank of America was actually. And but the thing was, in the meantime, as Bank of Italy was growing, originally it was called Bank of Italy. Eventually, they started to make investments in Bank of America, which was actually founded by another person. Giannini wasn't the actual founder of Bank of America itself. He founded Bank of Italy, which made massive investments in Bank of America because they needed to be able to operate and build without facing the discrimination. So they just renamed themselves and became sort of a very silent power play. And over time, they did some pretty amazing things. I actually have some notes up here I'll share with you. Let me see here. Let's see. Actually, Bank of America was established in 1923 by Ora E. Monetti, who I think was born in Ohio. So Giannini began investing in the Bank of America in Los Angeles because conservative business leaders in LA were less receptive to the Bank of Italy than San Francisco's people had been. Bank of America LA represented a growth path for Giannini and Moneta, president and chairman of the board, who was receptive to Giannini's investments. So effectively, hey babe, you about to go?
You're online, right?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, sweet.
I'll write you a note.
Okay, babe. All right. You can write it right here. So.
Goodbye. I'll see you later.
Okay.
I'll talk to you when you get back.
All right.
Get back.
Okay. Love you. All right. So sorry about that. I gotta say goodbye. So to the woman. So by 1929, the bank had over 400 banking offices in California. If you know, 1929 was the year the Great Depression began, the stock market crash. The new institution continued under Giannini's chairmanship until his retirement in 1945. So Giannini became the chairman of the of Bank of America after Moneta left, and so he did some really interesting things. He helped to build the motion picture and wine industries in California. He actually loaned Walt Disney the money that he used to make Snow White, which was the first full-length animated motion picture to be made in the U.S. during the Great Depression, where everybody thinks nobody made money during the Great Depression. He made a ton of money during the Great Depression. As I've told you guys, especially those who take my class, you know that the downturns are actually when a lot of the money's made. From the savvy investors, those who aren't afraid of the downturn. During the Great Depression, he bought bonds that financed the construction of the Golden Gate Bridge. During World War II, he bankrolled industrialist Henry Kaiser and his enterprises supporting the war effort. After the war, he visited Italy and arranged for loans to help rebuild the war-torn Fiat factories. Giannini also provided capital to the Hewlett and Packard company, to William Hewlett and David Packard, to form Hewlett Packard. Giannini founded another company, Transamerica Corporation, as a holding company for his various interests, including Occidental Life Insurance Company. At one time, Transamerica was the controlling shareholder in Bank of America. They were separated by legislation enacted by the Congress in 1956. Blah blah blah. There's more to this. The point that I want to make here with this, and was meant to not be a long video, is first of all, a lot of the biggest power plays in history have very humble beginnings. So if you have that little raggedy, torn down black business that doesn't seem like it's amounting to much of anything, I want to encourage you, to understand that there may be a bigger vision that God has in store for you, but you're going to miss that vision if you allow Negro naysayers to tell you that what you're doing isn't going to work out, or it can't go very far. Two, the idea of supporting each other and building our own is something that other communities have done. They've done it in a way and to a scale that has led to massive opportunities and massive success. Building your own is the best answer to discrimination that there is. When you don't have your own institutions, then all you know how to do is beg. All you know how to do is go ask other people to take care of you. And when you're asking people who don't care about you to take care of you, then you're always going to be broke. You're always going to struggle. You're never going to get out of that hole because they don't want you out of that cage. So I want you to just ask yourself, do you really believe that Black people can ever progress without owning our own institutions? Do you really believe that in a country where so many Black people have been lynched and raped and murdered and had everything stolen from them, do you believe that they're ever really going to give us real power in this country? In a country where they burned down Black Wall Street because you actually had a little bit of something at the time, do you really believe that they're ever really going to give you real power? Do you think they're going to ever let you make a power play inside their institutions? The answer is no. It's not going to happen. So building your own is the solution. Other groups have applied. We can do the same thing. Anybody who says that we can't, I feel sorry for those people because you've been caught in the cage of white supremacy. The cage of white supremacy is not one that stops you from doing the things you want to do. The cage of white supremacy is where they convince you that you can't do it, so you don't even try. So you build the cage yourself. You maintain the cage yourself. You keep yourself incarcerated so they don't have to incarcerate you for themselves. Okay, so that's it. That was my 2 cents. I just wanted to follow up on that video because a lot of you asked me to do that. So I thought I'd give a little brief history lesson on powernomics and how this kind of game works. Powernomics is not a race-specific concept. Powernomics is about how you play the game of power. If you go read this book by Dr. Claude Anderson, we have a lot of copies at drboycebooks.com. That's drboycebooks.com. If you look here, you'll see where he actually breaks down the layers of power. And I can't find the page in here right now, but one day I'll go through it. And what he basically says is that everything stems from economic power. And you know this already because think about this. Think about your own life. When I was in high school, my mother And father, I used to get annoyed when they would tell me what to do. They told me when to come home. They told me, you know, when I could go out, where I could go, whatever. And I remember thinking, I got to get out of here. Once I move out of this house and I'm paying my own bills, they won't be able to tell me anything. And that's what happened. I moved out of the house. I paid my own bills, and they weren't able to tell me anything. Right. So same thing is true right now for Black people. You know, white folks are your parents. You know, they're telling you what to do. They tell you where you can live. They tell you what you can have. They tell you what you can be. They tell you what you can believe about yourself. They tell you when you succeed. They tell you when you fail. And if you want to change that, you've got to really question all these institutions that you're committed to and commit yourself to something else. If all Black people committed half their energy to just building for the Black community, then we would solve probably 90% of our economic problems in a generation. If all of us turned all the energy that we're giving to other people, all the money that we spend with other businesses, and turned half of that to the Black community, we would have trillions of dollars in extra wealth. If we turned all of our, our time that we're giving to building other businesses in other communities to building our own community, we would have trillions of dollars in extra wealth. If we turned all of the, all the other resources that we give out, all of our talent from athletes, entertainers, all of that, and turn that into Black-owned businesses, we would have trillions of dollars in new wealth. So your reparations are right there in front of you. God gave you your reparations. You just got to go pick up the damn check. So that's all I'm saying. Just go pick up the check. All right. So I'm about to go, guys. Hit the thumbs up button before you go. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on Twitter and also on YouTube. It's good to see you guys. Also, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, please go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. And on this shirt, I ask, are you Black enough? That's because we have a plan B for Facebook. Facebook loves to ban Black people. For example, they just banned me for a post I put up literally 6 years ago. They literally 6 years later came back and said this post from 2013, it has gotten you banned for the next 30 days. And it wasn't even something that I wrote. It was actually me sharing an article where somebody called Michelle Obama a monkey. And I was like, can you believe they did this? But they define it as hate speech because that's how ignorant they are. So we have a plan B. Plan B is Black enough. Plan B is build your own. Plan B is Black all the time, 24/7, unapologetically so. And so go to blackenough.com. You can sign up. And if you're Black enough, join Black enough, because Black enough is for people who have a strong Black identity. So if you are a Black identity extremist like me, but I ain't gonna hurt nobody. We don't hurt nobody over there. But if you are extreme in your Blackness and you love your people and you want to be a part of something special, feel free to join us at Black Enough. We're wide open for you guys right now. We're pretty soon we're going to shut it down and make it invitation only. But right now we're open for those who want to join. So take care, guys. I love you. Have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Peace.